Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 of the first matchup of the first week of the ESEA tournament. Now in case you're wondering what all of that actually means, it means it's a team tournament where every matchup is going to be a best of 5 of best of 3s. Now this is the first one and we are in Game 3. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, you can always Google or Team Liquid ESEA and look at the format. There are posts everywhere in the forums by the Bears, and I would like to thank the Bears for this opportunity of letting me cast the ESEA. Now, what a start of a tournament it has been. In case you missed those two first games, go and look at them, especially Game 2 on Shakura's Plateau, where we have encountered the split map situation with two planetary fortresses in the middle of the map, making xSixFargo basically impenetrable. Heaven on Earth was just throwing away army after army after army inside that middle choke point, and eventually he correctly decided to utilize the Nidus networks. But it was too little, too late. xSixFargo had such a lead at that point, racking up the minerals. Anyways, back to this third game. On Metalopolis, the MLG version with the supply depot on the low ground. Once again, Heaven on Earth gonna go for that early expansion, and we have seen the same build by these two players in the two first games. I have never seen these players play before this series. And xSixFargo, if he actually goes for those Hellions once again, which it right now looks like he is going to be much stronger in this map just because the natural expansion is a lot wider open. The two previous maps were Tal'Darim Altar, where the choke is about this wide, and Shakura's Plateau, where the ramp is actually this wide. Now that almost doubles even more than doubles the surface area from Tal'Darim Altar, so one Spinecrawler might not be able to cut it on this map. Heaven on Earth is actually going to have to plant maybe 1, 2, maybe even 3 Spinecrawlers, although Heaven on Earth has gotten that extra queen in both games just for that creep spread. I love that play, but not always connecting his two main bases with creep. He decides to spread out the creep across the map instead of connecting the two bases, and they really in that second game, after that initial drop that happened in both games, it really worked against him at least a tiny bit. He was able to bring those queens back in time though, so not too much of a deal. But if that drop had happened a few seconds earlier, it would have been a big problem, or if he would have spotted it a second later. Anyways, back to the game, it does look like that reactor is going up on the barracks as well as the factory, so he is going to swap those two buildings once again, and getting the second gas, I do believe, a tiny bit earlier than the last game, so switching it up at least a little bit. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong, but I do think that gas was a tiny bit earlier. Maybe he wants to get those tanks up and running a tiny bit sooner. Maybe he wants to go for, that would be weird, but a Banshee. Banshees could take Heaven on Earth off guard. I mean, Heaven on Earth has not been producing those upgrades very, very fast in the previous games. So maybe a Banshee, if there is no Evo chamber up, it could do a lot of damage. I love this positioning on the Queen, going to be able to deny the Hellions from running back here if she wants to. And this Spinecrawler basically covers this area, which leaves this whole area uncovered except by a single Queen. Now a lot of Hellions can actually take down a Queen quite fast. Heaven on Earth actually losing an Overlord and is now supply blocked, so he cannot produce anything until these two Overlords actually pop out. And he is oversupplied. 40 on 36, you actually saw what is the equivalent of the extractor trick, but building Spinecrawlers instead, and finally he's unsupply blocked. But right now, there are 4 Hellions in his face, and these Hellions, like I said, believe it or not, but Hellions can actually kill a Queen if there are enough of them and if you micro them correctly. So And hold that thought, because some Hellions trying to kill some drones. Only 2 down right now, 3 drones down. And this is one dangerous position for these Hellions to be in. Losing 3 Hellions for 3 drones is not a good trade. He is even going to lose that 4th one for absolutely no reason. So great save by Heaven on Earth. xSixFargo running his Hellions in the back of the mineral lanes, being trapped there. And really, Heaven on Earth taking a very significant lead at the start of this game. It is 43-27 Harvesters. The second base not even done, and there are the Banshees. So I guess I did kind of... That is awesome. Thank you, Fargo, for making me look good. But, I mean, that was just such a huge deal by Fargo, running in those Hellions to their death, killing 3 drones for 4 Hellions. That is 150 against 400 minerals. Now, these Banshees are going to have to really catch Heaven on Earth off guard, but there are 3 queens. Did he actually spot the Banshees? He did spot 1 starport, maybe a second one, depending on what that building was earlier. But he can at least guess that there are Banshees coming, and there it goes. The Spore Crawler building in the middle of the main base, as well as 3-4 queens on the map. These Banshees, unfortunately, were spotted and are not going to do as much damage as they could, although there are still some few security holes inside Heaven on Earth's main base and expansion. I mean, the Banshees could basically abuse this Spine Crawler, and this hatchery of the queens are not careful, because obviously if they stick here, the Spore Crawler is not going to be able to cover the whole expansion. Here they come. They are now positioning themselves, but there are 5 queens, and if he's not careful, he's going to lose these really for nothing, doing no damage. That queen even got a transfuse and is back at full health. So once again, losing a Banshee, doing absolutely no damage, and really, Heaven on Earth once again is looking so good. I'm surprised that his creep spread is not as evolved as last game, simply because he has 5 queens out. I mean, that means 3 of them are basically doing nothing. 1 Overseer going to be able to detect these Banshees even if they have Cloak, but they do not. 1 reactor being built on the starport. Meanwhile, I think that Fargo is actually going to be transitioning into his regular, normal build, which involves a lot of Marines, tanks, a single Thor, and a few medevacs. But really, he has not done the damage that he should. Heaven on Earth right now that mutas are out, look for him to double expand as he did in all the previous games. These mutas are going to be able to chase away the Banshees, and I love this separation of the Banshees. Kill Suicide 1 so that he can save all the others, but it is still another free Banshee. There goes the first expansion, and 1 drone making its way to the 4th base so he can double expand. And really, I have to give this really... Right now, this game is looking so good for Heaven on Earth, killing even more workers. It is now 4 workers as well as a mule killed, and there are no turrets to be seen. I mean, Fargo is going to rely solely on these Marines that don't even have Stimpack at this point to kill all these mutas, and these mutas are just going to do too much damage. More mutas in production, 3 more going to regroup with the initial 6 or 7. That is a total of 10 mutas, and really these mutas should not stop harassing right now. Only a single turret now going up, still no turrets at the expansion. These mutas could do so much damage, or just at least be very, 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 very annoying. These 3 mutas being separated from their group, don't know what they're doing right now, but at least Fargo has them selected. Oh, there's the rest of her group doing a lot of damage once again. And 16 workers killed. How did I miss that? I guess it was right here. 16 workers killed. The Stimpack not even done, about halfway done. It is 54-32 Harvesters, almost 4 bases against only 2. And Heaven on Earth 131 supply to 71. These mutas coming back inside the main base. Gonna target down this turret. Now there is nothing inside the mineral line to save these 22 harvesters versus 3. And I mean, unless there is a huge miracle by Fargo, I don't see him winning this game. So if that is the case and Heaven on Earth can take the first series off of xSix's team, his own team, Kiwi Clones, will actually get an early 1-0 advantage in this series. Now that is just one huge swell of Zerglings at this point. 63 harvesters to only 35. You can see Heaven on Earth basically has the ability to produce whatever he wants right now. I would love to see him getting the Infestation Pit just so he can get the Hive Tech in case he needs it. Meanwhile, these mutas gonna try and harass at third base. Fargo really needs this third base right now. Taking away a single Marine, and this small group of Marines is gonna get surrounded by all these Lings. I mean, Heaven on Earth just decided to skip the Banelings because he knows that he has enough to just kill everything with only Lings. And I mean, I think he does have enough to actually kill everything with only Lings. These Marines going inside the bunker might be able to save him a bit of time, but even if this doesn't kill Fargo, I mean, he's going to be left with no army, and he grats Heaven on Earth, and Heaven on Earth takes Game 3, a 2-1 lead, and a 1-0 lead for his team. So that was the first series of the ESEA Open Tournament. Welcome, and we are going to have some great games in this tournament, so tune in for that, guys. Thanks for watching once again.